Hello everyone. So today we are going to solve this Leetcode problem, which is maximum matrix sum. So what it says, we are given an n cross n matrix, which is a square matrix. Okay, and you have to do the following operations any number of times, which is to choose any two adjacent elements of the matrix and multiply by -1. So what happens after multiplying by -1? Negative elements become positive and positive becomes negative. Okay, so two elements are considered adjacent if and only if they share a border, like this border or this border or this border. Means they should be having a horizontal relation or a vertical relation. Okay, and on that condition only they'll share the border. So what our goal is to maximize the summation of matrix and return the maximum sum of matrix elements using operation. Okay. So it is saying that we have to maximize the sum. Suppose it is given 1 -1 -1 and 1, which is our example 1. Okay. So what we are seeing here is, first we'll take suppose this column and we'll make it -1 and 1 by multiplying it by -1. Then we'll take this column and make it as 1 and 1. So in this scenario, you will see if you have any n cross n matrix, if the total number of negatives in any case, if it is even, in the end they will all cancel out. Like here they were even, there were two negative elements, so they have cancelled out. So we can just return the sum of all the elements in the matrix. Now, and if there are odd, then we have to find the smallest number which we can leave it as a negative number, and then we'll subtract that smallest element from our total sum. Okay. So let's take an odd example also. Suppose we have -4, 2, 1 and 9. Then our 1 would have been the smallest, so we would have made it negative. So what operations we could have done? First we'll do like this, -2 for this row, and then we'll do for this column. So at the end we'll get -1, 2, 4 and 9. Our smallest one would have been negative. So that's the case for the odd one. So let's see the code. How can we write the code? We'll take n as matrix dot length. Then we can take m as matrix of O dot length. But we had like square matrix, so don't need to take the m. Okay. So it is same only. So we'll not take it. Okay. So then we'll take a counter. Okay. Counter will be initialized as 0. And our smallest number, which we'll initialize as int dot max value. Okay. And then sum as 0, in which we'll store the total sum. Then we'll iterate a for loop. Okay. Int I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. And for int j equal to 0, j less than n and j plus plus. And if matrix of I or j is negative, if the element is negative, then the count would be plus plus to find the total number of negative elements. And at last, what we'll do in loop, we'll take a variable and we'll find its absolute value of the that element. We'll store the absolute value of that element, and what we'll do in the smallest, we'll consider as min value of smallest and value. In last, the smallest element would come in our smallest variable. And at last, what we'll do, sum plus equal to will, which is absolute sum of the elements. At last, sum will have all the total sum of all the elements of the matrices, absolute value, which is no negative number, and smallest will contain the smallest element of the matrix. At last, we'll check if count is not is even, then we'll return our sum. We don't have to subtract anything. All the negatives will negate out, and else we'll return our sum minus smallest if the count of the elements is odd. So this was a very simple approach. If you had any problem, just comment in the comment section and I'll reply. And I'll put this code in the description. And continue your craze for the DSA. Keep learning and keep growing. Bye bye.